Hello, fellow pen lovers and stationery enthusiasts. This is Christy here, Snarky Wordsworth over on Instagram and Reddit. And today I have a brand new pen reveal for you. It's an unbagging rather than unboxing. If you happen to watch my AliExpress haul from a little bit ago, this was included in that box. I have not yet removed the pen from its little sleeve, so my reaction will be my first time actually seeing this. So hopefully it is a good reaction. If you've read the title, you already know what pen this is, but for those who haven't, prepare. Here we go. Oh, okay. Sorry, that was a weird reaction, I'm sure. So this is the Jinhao x159, and the reason for my sort of startled response was, I don't know if the camera's picking up, the black faux velvet sleeve left all kinds of little black schmutz on the pen. So I was not really sure what I was seeing, but that's exactly what it is. I'm going to go give this pen a quick wipe down and then have a more thorough response. Hold on one moment. Okay, I am back and I just finished wiping off all of the extra pen sleeve dust, and what I'm left with is a very, very nice looking pen. So again, this is the Jinhao x159. I believe it was made to be a bit of a dupe for the Montblanc Meisterstruck 149. I don't have a great deal of experience with that particular pen. I've written with friends a couple of times, but it's not been, something I ever did with regularity. So I can't tell you, as to the authenticity of the feel or really the weight, but I can tell you it is a very nice pen. And if this were in black, it would look very, very similar, I believe. But again, I don't personally own one, so everything I have is, like, for the most part secondhand, with like a couple of times writing with one. As far as just a regular fountain pen user, it does feel quite nice in the hand. It's got a nice heft to it that I wasn't expecting from a plastic pen like this, especially, considering the fact that I think I got this for $4.50 and then free shipping on top of that. So it is a really nice pen for less than $5. Once you uncap this guy, you've got a pretty streamlined body. There's a little bit of a step down, but nothing that really affects my grip at all. I do have small to medium hands, so if you have a really large hand, you might feel the step down, but it's not really that bad. The nib is lovely. It's two-toned, and I got this one in the fine. It is a Jovo nib, I believe in the number 6 size. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain about that. And while I was cleaning it off, I figured I might as well kill two birds with one stone and go ahead and fill it up. And this is inked with Monteverde's Moonstone, which is an absolutely gorgeous deep shade of brown. So yeah, that is what is in my Jinhao x159. I actually think it looks incredibly similar as well to the Sailor 1911S that I own. I also have that in the ivory and gold, so it's particularly similar in my case with that classic cigar shape, albeit the Sailor is way, way smaller. But we'll get to comparisons in just a moment. I did want to bring up one thing. While this is absolutely lovely, and I really do mean that, it really is for less than $5. Again, a really, really nice pen. And I would definitely say, as far as looks go, probably one of my prettiest lower end pens. Like, seriously. I did have one kind of really persnickety gripe, and maybe other people won't even notice this, but since I did get the ivory, it's kind of picking up, but I don't think as well as it is in real life. There is a little O-ring that helps keep the seal there, and I totally appreciate an O-ring, don't get me wrong, but this plastic is kind of weirdly translucent at that point, so you can see a weird gray all the way around that section of the pen. Like I said, I do have other ivory pens, and even when they do have an O-ring, you don't get that. I don't know if as time goes by, I'm not going to notice it as much, but it does really kind of draw my eye really quickly. Enough so that when I was cleaning the pen off, I thought that some of the dust had gotten in there, because that is how distracting it is from this otherwise really lovely, creamy colored pen body. So if you got a color that wasn't ivory, one of the darker shades or black, of course, that's not even going to be an issue. But if you are looking for a light colored pen like this, that might be something to keep in mind. Just again, my very first observation with this. So just again, keep that in mind. All right, on to the size comparison and some specs for you. So this one closed is 147.6 millimeters, and then posted it's 161.5 millimeters, and it weighs about 27 grams. This is definitely a larger pen. I tend to be a pocket or mini pen person, but even with standard pens, there's a noticeable size difference, compared to like Sailor PGS and things like that. As far as my collection goes, it is probably closest in size to my Benu Euphoria, which is the largest pen I have. And it's gonna look like this. Now, when it's just closed, they're right about the same size, maybe a millimeter difference or so. But when it's posted, the Euphoria is significantly larger. It's 180 millimeters, I want to say, or thereabout. And I do sometimes think when I'm writing with the Euphoria, it does get a little bit like, do I really need to post it? I always do, because I'm just like posted pens. But you can see here. So posted, it is a potentially less obtrusively long pen. So if you are a pen poster like I am, this might be a really good size for you. Let's close it back up for just a moment so we can compare it to a couple others. Now this is my Sailor 1911S, also in an ivory and gold finish. You can see here, they look a lot alike. One looks kind of like the baby version of the other, sort of like a King of Pen situation, but they do have a very similar look. So if you have a 1911, the smaller version, and you want to try out a larger version before investing in, a King of Pen version, this might be a nice option, so you can kind of get the feel for size differential. But yeah, I think they look really nice all together. But yes, so you can see there is about a centimeter difference in size between the two, and a whole lot of difference between diameters for these guys. If you wanted to see it next to a Platinum 3776, you can see how that one is, again, about a centimeter smaller. I do feel like the Platinum has a slightly larger diameter than the 1911, so it's a little bit closer, but still a significant difference between these two. And then, just if you're a pocket person like me, here it is next to the Pro Gear Slim Mini. And that's a good 3 centimeters smaller. But very, very cute when you compare the two. But yeah, so if you're a pocket pen person and you appreciate the fact that the pocket pen is small enough to fit in your pocket, this might be way too large. Again, this is my first time even really looking or experiencing the X159, so I don't know, how it'll feel when posted and writing, but we will find all of that out in a few. Okay, here they are in size order. You can see this one is quite large. The X159 is very large, but as mentioned, I really liked the way it felt in the hand. It felt perfectly comfortable, and I wasn't thinking, oh, this is so much heavier, I hate it. No, not at all. I really liked it. And let's get these all posted just so you can sort of see where they are with that. Okay, so you can see how the sizing goes along when it comes to the pens being posted. The Benu is still far and away the largest of those, but the X159 definitely is a sizable pen. Chunky and really beautiful, but definitely one that I think will take a little bit of getting used to for me anyway. And then the other three, you can see how that goes. But yeah, I am definitely excited to see how much I like writing with it. As I'd mentioned, I actually think the grip is really comfortable. I was worried that the section was going to be too wide, but it doesn't feel wide at all. It feels pretty normal and very comfortable. So we shall have to see how the writing sample turns out. But yeah, I will just take one moment and get that all set up, and then we will try and see what this one writes like. All right, I am all set to do a quick little writing sample. As mentioned earlier, I did ink this up with Monteverde's Moonstone. It's a gorgeous shade of brown. And again, the X159 that I selected has a fine nib. It really is very pretty, that two-toning with a little tiny bit of filigree. Very, very nice. How is this pen less than $5? Even with all my complaining about this weird gray thing, it's less than $5. I can't even. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how this one looks. Okay, so it writes really smoothly. The fine is a little bit broader than I was expecting, but that's not a bad thing. It does show off a little bit of shading. Of course, it's still pretty wet, but you do get to see a little bit of that nuance there with the fine nib. Look, seriously though, that is a pretty broad fine. Um, sorry, I'm just kind of surprised, but I like it. I do like it, and as I mentioned earlier and in several of my videos, I am trying to get more and more comfortable with broader nibs. So even if this looks much more like a medium to me, and if you feel differently, definitely comment with that below. Or if you have a Jinhao x159 find that looks way different than this, absolutely would love to hear that. And I'm sure other people would be interested in knowing that too. Yeah, it does feel really nice across the page. I wasn't sure what I was expecting. I have other Jinhaos. I have a couple of the 51As because the wooden ones I think look so great. And I really enjoy the writing experience with those two. Yeah, it's crazy smooth. I'm not at all scratchy. And just very, very nice. Very, very nice. Again, $5. That's crazy. My other Jinhaos are also pretty smooth. I have two extra fines that are definitely a little bit larger extra fines, but I don't think the size differential is quite as surprising to me with those ones anyway. Not to yammer on about that. I just, again, am very surprised. It's like definitely a medium. This is definitely, to me, a medium-sized nib in this particular pen. But I digress. I do really enjoy how it feels on the paper. So if you are a fan of very smooth writing pens, I do think that this one has a good amount of that smoothness to it. There's a teeny, tiny, tiny bit of feedback, but I don't think anything that would be particularly off-putting to someone who isn't super, super sensitive to that. And it does lay down a very nice line of ink whether you're a fan of a thin nib or not, it looks good on the page, and that's the big thing. I definitely have pens that I've paid way more that do not have as smooth of a writing experience, and I'm not even talking of like the feedback that you're looking for with, say, a Sailor. I just mean like I've picked up like Kavekos that were, $27, and they don't feel that nice on the page. So props to Jinhao for putting this one together, because I definitely foresee myself using this quite a lot. I'm very, very pleased with this purchase. So I hope that this video has been useful or helpful in some way. If it has been, please consider pressing that like button or maybe even the subscribe. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye-bye.